All right, give it up for Azzy. Beautiful. I love that story. You know, it's very powerful. And you guys saw instantly, right, that as soon as he gets these gifts and these clothes, he just instantly breaks down into tears. Because this really, really touched his heart. What I wanted you to pay attention to was what he said. He said, I finally feel like I can be Azzy again. I finally feel like I'm a human being again, right? And to really feel like he actually mattered, like he actually existed, all of us have that same power to make someone else feel that way too, that might not otherwise, right? And that means we have to show kindness, we have to show love. Someone else who embodied that was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., right? And he, let me make sure I still have this here. Sorry about that. There we go. Thank you so much. Thank you for your kindness. Had a technical difficulty. But look, you guys saw that Azzy, he instantly broke down into tears, and like I said, that this really touched his heart. But someone else who also felt this way was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Oh, sure. Thank you so much. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., right? He talked about that he has this dream. You guys are going to learn about him later this month if you haven't already started talking about him, because this month in January is all about his legacy. But he said, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they are not judged by the color of their skin or anything else, but by the content of their character. Everybody say, content of their character. Content of their character. And what that means is that we look at someone's heart first, right? That it's based on who they are as a person, their actions, right? And he went on to say that it's not just a day when his 4 little children will live in a nation where they're not judged by the color of their skin or anything else. He said he looks to a day when all people will not be judged by the color of their skin or anything else, but by the content of their character. And this means that we have to show so much kindness, right? If you were at my assembly last year, you probably saw this picture, and it says, need human kindness. I have the sign, though, right here. You can see it right here. The sign that says, need human kindness. And this is from one of my friends who was a teacher. He's retired now, but he was a teacher in Detroit, Michigan. And every year when he taught, he had this sign right by his entranceway in his classroom that said, need human kindness. And the students would walk in, they'd see this sign. When they walked out, they would see this sign. And finally, this one girl's like, what's this sign about, right? And as soon as she asked that question, towards the beginning of the year, he brought out this mirror, this peace sign mirror. And he had his students come up one at a time, look at themselves in this mirror, and ask themselves the same question, which was, how could I have shown more kindness as a leader? How could I have shown more kindness as a leader? And what they decided on as a class was to make a commitment, was to make a promise in their heart, that from that day forward, they were going to show at least one act of kindness to someone that they really didn't know that well, right? It could be someone in their grade that they don't know that well, someone in their class, someone in a different grade, a different teacher, whoever it is. So by the end of that school year, they had shown an act of kindness to every other person at that school. And the school was smaller. But these students, that particular year, they've kept to that promise to this day, years later, right? To at least show one act of kindness to someone that we don't even know that well, right? Every day. Every day. And think about how much more amazing this earth would be, this planet would be, if we kept just trying to do one act of kindness a day. All of us, right? It would be so, so awesome. And you know who else shows kindness and love? Puppies. These are my wife and I's 3 dogs. From left to right, you have Mrs. Murillo. She's the American Eskimo, a little bit bigger there. In the middle, the black dog is Kiki Melaniki. She's a Pomeranian. On the far right there, we got Bare Bones Jones III. He's a Pomeranian Chihuahua, a Pom Cheat. This is them posing. This is them at the holidays. They like to dress up sometimes. And this is Bear's best friend, Dakota. They have play dates together. And this is them, you can see, chilling at the beach by the sandbox, chilling by the pool, hanging out over there. And this is Dakota. He has to wear a diaper, and he's also in a wheelchair. The reason I'm showing you this picture is because when Dakota was a baby puppy, his older brother, a different dog breed, was a little bit too rough with him. He actually hurt his 2 back legs. He didn't fully paralyze him. He can still stand up for a little bit on all 4s, but the wheelchair helps him get around a little bit easier, right? And you can see too, if he doesn't have a wheelchair, he can pull himself around like a seal. He's got a lot of upper body strength. The reason I'm showing you this though is that, do you think that bear cares at all that his best friend is in a wheelchair? No. All bear cares about is if we say Dakota's coming over to play, he will run to the front door like this and wait there for sometimes 2 hours, right? Until his friend gets here. It's the same if I leave for a little bit and then I'm about to come back, he's waiting for me by the door. Any of you guys that have pets or dogs know what I'm talking about, where they're just waiting for you, and as soon as you get through that door, as soon as you get home, this is going to be their reaction. This is Bear. He's going to lick you to death, give you all these kisses, bark like crazy, and show us something called unconditional love. Everybody say that. Unconditional love. Unconditional love. And what this means is love without any conditions. So if somebody's wider than us, or skinnier than us, or taller than us, or shorter than us, or different skin color than us, or wears glasses or doesn't, or is in a wheelchair or not, we still show them love, no matter what, right? And dogs teach us how to do this. This quote that I said last time, it's so important to repeat again, but the famous author Mark Twain said, kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. And they can't really hear it or see it, right? But they can feel it where? In their hearts, right? In a world where you can be anything, we have to choose to be kind. Everybody say, choose kind. Choose kind. There's a movie called Wonder. Some of you might have seen the movie before, but it's one of my favorite movies too. And in this movie, there's a boy named Augie. And this boy who's playing Augie, right, is playing somebody that has Treacher Collins. Thank you so much. But in this movie, this boy, who his name is Augie, he's playing somebody that has Treacher Collins syndrome. And one of the symptoms of this, right, what happens is when you're born, the facial tissue and the bone in your face, it doesn't fully form together, right? So in this movie, Augie is constantly wearing his astronaut helmet. Not just because he loves space and astronauts, but because he's trying to hide his face. He's embarrassed. But look, this is actually a real life Augie. This is Jackson Besant. He's 8 years old in this picture. Any 8-year-olds on the call today? Show of hands. Hands down. He's 8 years old, he's from the state of Idaho. This is towards the state of California on the west side of our country. But he came home crying one day to his dad. He said, Dad, I can't take it anymore. People keep calling me names, they keep making fun of my face, and it breaks his dad's heart. So his dad goes on the internet, on social media, and says, can anybody send my son some encouragement? And so overnight, hundreds of messages flood back in, right? People your age, people younger, some older, people that actually have the same condition as him, and they're all trying to encourage him. So I'm going to have Mr. Sims play this video for you so you can see some of these acts of kindness, but also, Bates, pay attention to the impact this has on Jackson's heart, then we're going to talk about it. Take a watch.